Ever wished your spreadsheet could cheer you on to stick with your new routines? Today we're turning Excel into your personal habit tracking sidekick. And by the end of this guide, you'll have a full year habit tracker built from scratch, no templates, no macros, just pure Excel magic. And don't worry, we'll keep it simple and detailed. Whether you want to drink more water, exercise, or finally stop doom scrolling at 2 a.m., this Excel tracker will help you stay on course. Grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. First things first, let's create the file and worksheet structure for our yearly tracker. Think of this as the foundation of our habit tracking home. Fire up Excel and open a blank workbook. If Excel greets you with Sheet 1, you're in the right place. Go ahead and save this workbook with a catchy name like Habit Tracker 2025. Rename the first sheet to Jan for January. We'll use one sheet per month. To rename Sheet 1, double-click the Sheet tab at the bottom, type Jan, and press Enter. January's ready. We'll set up January fully and we'll make copies for other months. Why do the same work 12 times? Excel is about working smarter, not harder. So hold off on creating February to December for now. We'll duplicate the January sheet later with all the good stuff on it. By the end, you'll have 12 sheets, January through December, plus a dashboard. But trust me, setting up one and cloning it is way easier. Time to design the layout on our January sheet. This is where you'll log each day you do your habits. We'll make a simple table, a list of days and columns for each habit that you want to track. Select all the cells by clicking the arrow on the upper left corner of the worksheet. Yes, this one. From fill color, select this light gray. Alright, let's resize all the columns. Right-click on any column, for example column B, and choose the column with options. Change the width to 4, and let's center the text. Okay. I will use the first row for the title of my habit tracker. Let's right-click on row 1 and change the height of the row to 45. Now to set up columns for your habits. Let's first change the width of column B. Right-click and set it to 35. I will leave the second row blank so that my worksheet can breathe a little. In the cell B3, type Habits, and this is our header for the habit list. In C3, type 1. In D3, type 2. Now you don't have to type all the way to 31. Let's use Excel's autofill superpower. Select C3 and D3 together and then drag the little handle to the right. That tiny square at the bottom right of the selection, fill the series across through 31. In B4, type the name of the first habit. Make it something you genuinely want to track, like drink water or morning walk, something you're aiming to do daily. In B5, type your second habit, example, exercise. In B6, type a third habit, maybe read 10 pages. Let's fill one more habit. In B7, type meditate. Feel free to add more habit columns if you have more goals. To keep this beginner-friendly, we'll stick to 4 habits in the example. If any of your habit names are long, the text might be spilling over. No worries. Hover your cursor between the column letters at the top, example between B and C, until it turns into a double arrow. Then double-click. Excel will auto-fit the column to the longest entry. Now everything should be visible. You should have a neat little table. Row 3 are day 1 to 31, and rows 4 to 7 are your habit names, with cell B3 as header. This is the skeleton of your habit tracker. Not too scary, right? Alright, we just set up the basic structure. Let's do some makeover magic on the January sheet so it's easy to read and pleasant to use every day. We'll format headers, maybe add some color, and set up the table. Type Habit Tracker on cell B1. Align middle and left the text. Increase the font size to 20 and make it bold. Highlight row 1 and fill with a dark color. For example, this dark green. Change the font color to white. Let's decrease now the height of row 2 to 5 pixels. We use this row as a separator between the title and the dates. Let's now list our hobbies. This is 1, this is 2, etc. I may decrease the width of column A. Give the headers a background color to make them pop. For example, highlight cells from A3 to AG3 and choose a nice green color. Add a white font for the letters, and this makes it clear that these are headings. Plus, it just looks fancy. Center the text in the header cells. Centered text looks neat for our purposes. Now on the Home tab, click the bold button, or press Ctrl B to make these headers stand out. If you anticipate scrolling a lot, it helps to freeze the top 3 rows and the first 2 columns so that the headers stay visible. Click on cell C4, go to View, Freeze Panes, and freeze panes again. Now when you scroll down, the days and habit names will stick to the top like a loyal puppy. To finish formatting our table, we will use a nice border. Let's highlight cells from A4 to AG13. I want room for at least 10 habits. Open the Border drop-down menu and choose More Borders. As a style, I prefer this dotted line. Let's choose black color for the lines and select the upper, middle, and bottom borders. Okay, and boom, we made a beautiful table. To put the finishing touch, I will select No Fill for the cells. Here comes a bit of Excel magic to keep you motivated. No more typing X or done. We're going to click satisfying little boxes. We'll add checkboxes so that you can mark each day that you completed a habit. Click and drag to select range C4 to AG13. This covers all the cells where you want to check for the 10 habits across days 1 to 31. Be careful not to include the header row or any future total rows. We just want the daily cells. On the Insert tab, find the checkbox button and click on it. As you can see, Excel added checkboxes to each day and habit. Checked boxes are a versatile feature in Excel, useful for making interactive lists and forms. A checkbox is composed of the values true and false, with checkbox formatting. A checked checkbox has the value true. On the other side, an unchecked checkbox has the value false. This is extremely useful because if you reference a checkbox cell with a formula, true or false will be passed along to that formula. Right now, those checkboxes are just pretty, but they don't talk to Excel yet. With all the cells still highlighted, I will add a left and a right border to separate the habits with days. This is where Excel truly becomes your habit accountability buddy. We're going to add formulas to automatically count how many days you accomplished each habit, and even what percentage of the month that is. Don't worry, we'll take it slow and no complex math degree needed. Let's designate a row to summarize the month's progress. In column AH, just beside the last day, we'll label a completed. If you listed days 1 through 31 in C3 to AG3, then AH3 would be the next empty cell after day 31. Click AH13 and type completed. You can bold it to distinguish as a summary label. Also, with the help of Format Painter, I will copy all the formatting from these cells to total. So, click cell AG3, press the Format Painter, and click the cell AH3. Great! Let's also remove the filling from cells AH4 to AH13. It's time to count the wins. Click on cell AH4. We will use the COUNTIF formula to count how many days you checked off habit 1, which is drink water for our case. Let's type equal COUNTIF parentheses. Highlight all cells from C4 to HE4, comma, true. Close parentheses and enter. Think of COUNTIF as a smart counter. It's like telling Excel, hey Excel, go look through this bunch of cells and count how many times certain things happen. For example, if I check the boxes for the last 3 days of the month, then the result will be 3. It makes sense, right? Let's copy the formula down to the other habits. Now Excel is counting your successes automatically. Want to see your habit success as a percentage? Easy. In cell AI3, type success percentage. Let's format the label like before. Click on cell AI4 and type equal AH4 divided by 31. Enter. You'll see a decimal, example 0.968 if you did 3 out of the 31 days, which means we're almost at 9.7%. Let's make it a percentage. Select the cell and click the % style button on the home toolbar, or format the cell as a percentage with 1 decimal. Now it should display as 9.7% or maybe 10% if it rounds. Copy this formula for the other habits. Just like before, drag the fill handle or copy-paste. Important. These formulas will stay divided by 31, which is correct for January, but will adjust the other months where needed. But hold that thought. Now you have a total count and a % of the month for each habit in January. Nice. This is a great snapshot of your habit adherence for the month. Maybe make the total and % labels on a different color so they stand out from the daily area. But this is optional. If you prefer, you could also place the total and % labels in the first column and maybe indent them or color them. That's up to you. Formatting won't affect the formula results. After we calculate the success % for each habit, we'll add a visual bar right next to it so you can see your progress growing. Imagine you want to show more bars when the success % is higher. We will use the REPT function combined with the success % to scale the bar. Alright, let's add a new column for progress bar. Click on AJ3 and type progress. Format it like the previous cells. In cell AJ4, type equal REPT, double quotes, and from the Insert tab, symbol. From Arial font, find the full block bar and insert it. Here it is. Close the dialog box. Close double quotes, comma. Cell AH4 divided by 31 times 20. Enter, and you'll see a bar made of blocks. Let's break that down. The REPT function repeats the block character. It looks like a filled-in bar. AH4 cell is the total number of days that you completed the specific habit 1 in January, divided by 31 because January has 31 days. We multiply by 20 to make the bar longer and easier to see. You can change 20 to 10, 30, etc., depending on how long you want your full bar. Copy the formula down from AJ4 to AJ7. Now each month will show a longer or shorter bar depending on how well you did. The final step is to add the month label into cell C1. This worksheet is for January, right? Let's quickly format the label. Take a deep breath. The hard part is done, and you did it. Now let's replicate this awesomeness for the rest of the year without doing all that work again. We have January set up perfectly. Instead of manually redoing everything for February, March until December, we'll just copy the January sheet and then make a few adjustments. This way, all your formatting and formulas carry over. Work smarter, remember? Right-click on the January Sheet tab, and in the menu, choose Move or Copy. In the dialog, check the box Create a Copy, and under Before Sheet, choose Move to End or simply the last position so the copy goes to the end of the list. Click OK. You'll see a new tab called Jan 2. This is an exact clone of January. Right-click the Jan 2 tab and click Rename. Then type Feb and hit Enter. Now we have a February sheet. Since February has 28 days most years, 29 in a leap year, we need to remove the extra day rows that were copied from January. On the Feb sheet, select the columns for days 29, 30, 31. Right-click on the selected columns and choose Delete. This will delete those extra day columns. Now your February sheet should list days 1 through 28. Excel usually updates the ranges, but in this case, click on AE4, February's total for Habit 1, and verify that the formula references are correct. Let's adjust the percentage formulas on Feb sheet if needed. They are likely copied as divided by 31. We need them to be divided by 28 for February. So, edit the cell. Repeat the worksheet copy and rename the process for March through December. March has 31 days, so actually if you copied February, which only had 28 days listed, you might want to copy instead from January again for months that have 31 days. Here's a shortcut. You can just copy January for every month and then delete days for those that have fewer than 31. It's up to you. Copying Jan each time means you'll always remove 3 days for February, 1 day for April, etc. For April, 30 days, copy Jan, rename to APR, then delete just the row for day 31. Ensure April's total formula now references row 30 properly, and change the divide 31 in % formula to divide 30. I don't want to waste your time, so I'll do it quickly for the remaining months. Yes, it's a bit repetitive, but it's much faster than building from scratch each time. And now you have a sheet for each month, complete with formulas and formatting. Make sure the day lists end on the correct number for that month, and the % formulas should be divided by the right number of days. This one-time audit will save confusion later when you're tracking real data. You just constructed a year's worth of habit trackers. Take a sip of your coffee or tea and smile. The tedious setup is behind us. The fun part, a summary dashboard, is coming up next. It's time to gather all that monthly data into one place. We'll make a dashboard or summary sheet that automatically pulls your totals for each month. This will let us see the big picture, like which habit you rocked consistently and which months were your best or worst. Click the plus icon at the bottom to add a new blank worksheet. Immediately rename it to Dashboard and bring it in the front of the workbook. First of all, let's add a title for our dashboard. Click on A2 and type Habit Tracker 2025. Bold it and increase the font size to 24. Also center it across the top if you want. We will finish formatting later. Alright, let's build now the summary table. This table will show each month, how many days you've completed each habit, your visual progress bar. Leave a blank row and click on cell A4. Type month. From A5 to A16, type the months January, February, etc. Instead of typing them manually, just type January in cell A5 and drag down to autofill until December. This gives us a vertical list of months. Now let's bring the total number of days that you completed each habit from each month. We'll create columns for each habit's monthly total. Example, column B for drink water totals each month, column C for exercise totals, etc. In B4, type the name of your first habit, exactly as it appears on the month sheet. For example, drink water. I prefer to copy and paste it as values from January sheet. In C4, type your second habit name. In D4, type the third habit name, example, read 10 pages. And here is meditate. If you have more habits, continue across row 4 with their habit names. But this row is basically headers for this summary table, month versus habits. Now, the magic. We'll pull the totals from each month sheet into the table. This may sound complex, but it's just a lot of equals and clicking. In simple words, we link the monthly sheets into the dashboard. For January, click cell B5. This is going to show January's total for habit 1. Type equal, then click the Jan Sheet tab and click on Jan's total cell for habit 1. Remember on Jan we had the completed cell AH4 for habit 1. After clicking AH4, press Enter. Excel will transport you back to the dashboard sheet and it should display whatever number was in Jan AH4. Likely 0 if you haven't actually tracked anything yet, or some test number. In C5 on dashboard, do the same. Type equal, go to Jan Sheet, click completed for habit 2 and press Enter. In D5, do equal, go to the Jan Sheet, click completed for habit 3, Enter. And do the same for our last habit. Now dashboard row 5 has January's totals for each habit. For February in B6, we want February's completed tasks for habit 1. Type equal, click Feb sheet, click the completed cell for habit 1 on February sheet, which is AE4. Repeat for habit 2, habit 3, and habit 4 in February. Continue this process down the list for the other months. It's a bit repetitive, but it goes quickly with clicking. And if you mix up a reference, you can always click the cell and relink it.
A few moments later.
After this, your dashboard should have a full table. Column A listing months, and table B4 to E16 filled with numbers, mostly zeros if you haven't started tracking yet, or some sample counts if you've tested. It might be nice to see the total times that you did each habit over the entire year. In A18, type year total. You can bold this because it's a summary. In B18, we'll sum up all of Habit 1's monthly totals. The easiest way is to type equal sum B5 to B16 and hit enter. This adds up January through December for that habit. Drag the fill handle from B18 across to C18, D18, and E18 to sum those columns as well. Now you might have the total count of days that you did each habit in the year. The next step is to calculate the percentage of the year for each habit, similar to monthly percent but for all 365 days. In A19, type year percent. Make the label bold. In B19, type equal B18 divided by 365, assuming not a leap year. If it is, use 366. Format cell B19 as a percentage with 1 decimal. This tells you what percentage of the year you successfully did habit 1. Drag or copy that formula to C19, D19, and E19. These year totals and year percent rows are great for final performance stat. Now the exciting part. Turn numbers into cool visuals. The first chart that we are going to create is a line chart that shows the monthly progress for each habit. Let's highlight cells A4 to E16. Go to Insert tab, Line Chart, and select the 2D line chart. Rename the title to Monthly Progress of each habit. If the chart is too cluttered, you can click on the grid lines and press Delete to remove them. This can make a cleaner look, especially for a line chart. Alright, it's time for the second chart. We will insert a stacked column chart that compare all your habits at once for each month. Let's highlight cells A4 to E16, go to the Insert tab, and from the Column section, insert a stacked column. Now each month shows a stacked set of colored bars. Move it next to the line chart. Change the title to Monthly Habit Comparison. Remove the grid lines. Right-click to any column and select Format Data Series. I will decrease the gap width of columns to 50%. Now the chart looks nicer. Great! The next chart is a pie chart, and we want to see how each habit contributed over the year. First, select the habit labels, cells B4 to E4. Hold the Control key and select the total days for each habit, cells B18 to E18. Release the control. From the Insert tab, select a simple pie chart. Here it is. Your pie chart appears. Move it down there. Rename the title to Total Habit Completion Share. To add labels, right-click and add data labels. Let's change the font of the labels to white and make them bold. Done. And the last chart is a donut chart, so you can see your yearly success in a gauge style. Again, select the habit labels, cells B4 to E4, Hold the Control key, then select the total days for each habit, cells B18 to E18, and release the Control key. Let's insert the donut chart. Move it there. Rename the title to Final Success Rate. Okay, let's reduce the donut hole size to 50%. If you want to make your dashboard even more powerful, professional, and fun to use, you can add some formatting, like delete the grid lines of the worksheet. Fill the sheet with a light gray color. Change the color of the title. Add some borders to the table. Reduce the height of rows 1, 3, 17, and 20. Now we have a clean, professional layout. We took a boring Excel sheet and turned it into a full-blown personal success dashboard with checkboxes, charts, bars, and all the stats you need to stay motivated throughout the year. We created monthly sheets with checkboxes, tracked true-false values, pulled totals into a master dashboard, calculated success percentages, and even added a shiny chart, all without scary pivot tables or VBA. Not bad for a day's work, right? If you made it this far, give yourself a checkbox today. You earned it. Smash that like button if you found this helpful. Subscribe for more friendly Excel projects and comment below which habit you're most excited to track this year. Thanks for watching. Now, go be awesome, one checkbox at a time.